Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the Los Angeles Chargers versus Dallas Cowboys Week 12 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, there's always going to be some variation between various data points. However, there's always going to be little nuggets of truth that could become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you are new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So starting with this matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Dallas Cowboys. When it comes to the NFL stat basic comparison data, basic comparison data is essentially looking at the offense, the defense, and the special teams from a macro standpoint. So kind of taking a step back and just looking at how all the pieces are falling when it comes to that. And the overall macro data favors the Cowboys. It's also at home, which is also another thing to kind of consider. But let's get into some of the reasons why the Cowboys are favored in this matchup from a macro standpoint. First off, there are some things that the Chargers are better than the Cowboys at on offense in particular. One, the Chargers do not turn over the football as much. They have a better turnover percentage. They have a better sack percentage, surprisingly enough. The Chargers have been able to not allow as many sacks. But the offensive score percentage is more so in favor of the Cowboys. So that's the one kind of weird or odd thing that I've noticed this year when it comes to the Chargers is they do some things really well on offense. They've not been turning the football over. They've not been allowing a lot of sacks in terms of sack percentage, but they can't put points on the board. It's just anemic offense. Not being able to put points on the board is not going to win you a lot of football games. And that's just been a consistent theme with them this year, unfortunately. But that's kind of the crux of the issue here. And a big reason why the Cowboys are favored is because, offensively speaking, they just put up more points. And then when you get to the defensive side of the football, this is where the Chargers are actually kind of favored. They're favored in terms of defensive offensive score percentage, meaning that they allow less points compared to other teams. They also get more turnovers on defense. They get more sacks on defense. And they get more interceptions on defense. So defensively speaking, it's kind of funny, or maybe not funny, but just interesting, is the Chargers are actually favored. Now, when you get to special teams data, of course, is looking at punt return yardage, kick return yardage, and those other sort of factors. When it comes to punt return yardage, the Chargers are favored. Kick return yardage, the Cowboys are favored. Defensive punt return yardage, Cowboys. Defensive kick return yardage, Cowboys. Field goal percentage, Cowboys. Extra point percentage, Chargers. And then punting average goes to the Chargers. Overall, though, I would say that the Cowboys are favored when it comes to special teams, especially when you look at the field goal percentage, which out of all the special teams data, as I try to kind of reiterate to you guys a lot every week, field goal percentage is by far one of the most impactful special teams points in terms of correlation to wins. And the main reason why is because it's a big factor in winning football games. It's a deciding factor. Sometimes it is the factor that wins the game at times. So when you have a field goal kicker, when you have a place kicker that can make field goals on a consistent basis, that gives you a giant advantage in any game you're in. And that's something that the Cowboys have that the Chargers don't, which is another reason why, offensively speaking, the Cowboys have the edge because they put up more points. They also have the edge when it comes to special teams. And I think both those factors should bode well for the Cowboys. But it is a close matchup. We're talking the overall difference is 50.08 for the Cowboys versus 39.37 for the Chargers. That's not a big difference, guys. And when you look at the Chargers' defense, in terms of creating interceptions and turnovers and preventing points. Those could be some interesting factors. So this could be a pretty competitive game, potentially. And then when we get to some micro matchups. So micro matchups, of course, is looking at things like completion percentage and those other sort of factors that are down and distance data. When it comes to completion percentage data, the Cowboys are favored on first and third down, respectively. Then, of course, you get to the Chargers offense versus the Cowboys defense. And in this particular area, the Chargers are favored in terms of completion percentage on second and third down. Then we get to rushing data, so the ability to create first downs with the run. And the Cowboys are favored on first, second, and third down. Then we get to the Chargers offense versus the Cowboys defense when it comes to rushing data. And the Chargers are actually favored here in terms of first, second, and third down, respectively. And then we get to passing down. So this is the Cowboys passing offense versus the Chargers passing defense. And in this particular area, the Chargers are favored on first and second down. Then, of course, we get to the Chargers offense versus Cowboys defense when it comes to passing downs. And in this particular area, the Chargers are favored on first and second down. Then we get to sack rate between the Cowboys offense and the Chargers defense. In this particular area, the Chargers are favored on first, second, and third down. So I think this is going to be a very key matchup in this game. I do really like the Cowboys offensive line. I've done videos in the past on their line. I think it's fantastic when everything is working. But they have been slipping a bit this year for whatever reason. And it may not have totally to do with the line. It could be other factors. You know, I haven't put on the film to really look at it. But I'm just telling you that there's been some issues with allowing sacks this year. So it could be the offensive line. It could be running back issue. It could be tight end. It could be multiple factors to kind of consider here. So, or quarterback error, or just bad luck. So, yeah. So I'm just letting you know that the Chargers could have some success because very talented group of pass rushers in Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. Then we get to the Chargers offense versus Cowboys defense when it comes to sacks. In this particular area, the Chargers are favored on first and third down. But I would say it's fairly even between both these teams when you look at both those particular areas. So this is another sort of matchup that I'm actually kind of interested in seeing because the Cowboys have been pretty decent in getting sacks this year as well. Then you get to interception data. Cowboys offense versus Chargers defense. This particular area, the Cowboys are favored on first and second down. And then finally, we get to the Chargers offense versus the Cowboys defense with interception ratio, where the Chargers are favored on first and second down. So overall view of this game, I think it's a Cowboys victory. I think because it's at home, it's a Thanksgiving game, there's going to be a lot of those other sort of factors to kind of consider. But I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a fun game to watch. I don't think it'll be a blowout. At least I don't think it will be a blowout. But I think it'll be a pretty entertaining game to check out. And I think ultimately it will be just decent because I think there's a lot of fun matchups in this game. When you look at the Chargers defensive line versus the Cowboys offensive line, or you look at the pass rush of the Cowboys, which has been one of the more interesting aspects of that defense compared to the rest of the defense, which has been really struggling this year. But those are all the factors I would kind of consider. But ultimately, I have to go Cowboys victory. And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content, and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.